Listen, and I mean really listen. Because I'm not here to hand you a soft, safe pep talk. I'm here to say the things you've been dodging, the truths you've been pretending you don't know, the ones you hope someone else will say, so you can nod and go back to comfort. Yeah, that. Life crushed your spirit. And don't look away. Don't flinch. It did. You've been walking around like the next blow is still coming, still bracing, still freezing, still acting like the universe owes you a refund or an apology. Guess what? It doesn't. Life isn't polite. Life doesn't negotiate. Life barely acknowledges your existence sometimes. And when it does, it throws you into the deep end and waits to see if you sink or swim. And you've been waiting. Waiting for what? For clarity? For courage to land in your lap? For fear to disappear overnight? Cute. Adorable. Please. You know that's never how it works. Look at yourself. Don't lie. Why aren't you moving? Ah, right. Because you're processing. Because you're not ready. Because you're waiting for the right moment. There is no right moment. There is only now. You've been ready for a long time. You've been capable for a long time. But fear has a way of dressing itself as strategy, and you've swallowed it like water without thinking. And let's be honest, the real reason you freeze? You're scared. You've been hurt. You've been burned. And now you imagine the worst, always, in every scenario, as if bracing for impact is somehow safety. It's not. It's a cage, a padded, invisible cage where ambition goes to suffocate quietly. Well, and don't tell me you don't know this pattern. You do. You've shrunk before, haven't you? When something mattered. When risk actually knocked. When the choice to act was staring you in the face. You hesitated. You stalled. You told yourself, tomorrow. And tomorrow became guilt, and guilt became inertia, and inertia became identity. Not because you're weak, forget that. Because survival teaches you to shrink. Because survival feels safer than the unknown, even if the unknown is exactly what you need. You know, and let's be real, you're carrying old pain like it's armor. Like it protects you. It doesn't. It weighs you down. It molds you into a version of yourself that pretends endurance equals progress. It doesn't. Pain isn't currency. It doesn't pay you. It doesn't guarantee that you'll come out better or smarter or happier. Pain teaches. Pain exposes. Pain refines or crushes, but it doesn't reward, not automatically. And the fact that you've been holding on to it, replaying it, analyzing it endlessly, thinking somehow you're earning a pass to the next chapter, is exactly what keeps you stuck. So why do you keep looking for validation? From others, from life itself? Why do you wait for witnesses before you reclaim yourself? Because you think if no one notices, your suffering never existed? Guess what? You are your own witness now. And if you refuse to act, if you refuse to reclaim your momentum, your witness status becomes meaningless. The world moves whether you show up or not. It doesn't pause for grief, nostalgia, or analysis. You need to act, even if it's one micro step, one decision, one refusal to stay frozen. You know, you're going to say, but what if I fail? And yes, you will fail. Multiple times, guaranteed. And nothing. Falling doesn't cancel the effort. It doesn't erase your potential. It doesn't prove you weren't capable. What it does do is teach you something real. And if you keep waiting to act until you're certain you won't fail, newsflash, certainty doesn't exist. The safest people are the ones who never risk. And the ones who risk, they keep getting bruised. They keep learning. They keep moving. You, by contrast, have been masquerading caution as strategy. So, let me ask you something else. Don't lie to yourself. What are you really afraid of losing if you try again? Comfort? Pride? A neat narrative where suffering somehow guarantees eventual justice? Comfort is a trap. Pride can be rebuilt, and the narrative is yours to rewrite. But only if you stop waiting. Only if you stop letting fear be the co-pilot. You've been surviving, but survival isn't enough anymore. Not for the life you want. Not for the potential that's been itching under your skin. Not for the fire you've been smothering for years. And yet, and yes, I see you. I know your habits, the tiny ways you sabotage momentum, how you create space to avoid risk, how you reframe inertia as reflection. Clever, very clever. But stop it. Stop lying to yourself. Reflection is useful. Avoidance is a disease. And you've been letting it fester under the guise of being careful. Life doesn't reward careful. Life rewards movement, daring, effort, and the willingness to feel uncomfortably alive. Listen, and let's talk about fear again. Quietly now, almost whispering, because this one deserves it. That tight chest, shaking hands, sleepless nights. I can't voice. That's not weakness, not really. That's memory. That's your nervous system saying, I remember what happened last time. Fine, listen to it. Nod. But then move anyway. Because fear only rules when you obey it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Scratch that. That's a lie people tell themselves to sound heroic. Courage is moving forward while fear screams, while every cell of your body screams, while doubt claws at you like a cat with sharp claws. You don't need to kick fear out. Just don't hand it the wheel. So, and here's a pinch of the cold truth you're avoiding. Life doesn't care. It doesn't care about fairness, about effort, about intentions, about how good you are. Life will take. Life will crush. Life will confuse. Life will knock down walls you just rebuilt. And you have a choice. You either stay a victim of circumstances, or you become someone who moves anyway. Not because life is kind, not because it owes you, but because standing still is finally more painful than moving. And I know, you know that's true. You felt it. You've tasted it in those quiet, restless nights. You know. And the next thought you'll have, because I know it's coming, what if it doesn't work? Then it doesn't work. Then you learn. Then you try again. Then you adjust. Then you refuse to quit. That's the difference between living and existing. Existing is waiting for someone else to fix your world while your fire smolders quietly in the corner. Living is acknowledging the burns, the cuts, the scars, the trauma, the chaos, and still moving, still fighting, still daring, still doing. And stop underestimating yourself. You survived things most people can't even imagine. And now you're acting like that makes you fragile instead of unstoppable. It doesn't. Fragility is a choice. Survival is a proof point. And proof points demand action, not quiet, not shame, not hesitation. Action, movement, momentum. So, you'll start thinking about excuses again. I'm too tired. I need more time. I can't handle it. And, yes, you're tired. You've been carrying the weight of the world and your ghosts, and maybe you are at the end of your rope. Fine. But tired is not broken. Tired is human. Tired is the signal that you need to choose. You rest enough to move, or you rest enough to sink. And you know which one is cowardice. Listen. Look, this is long, I know. And you might want to pause, to escape, to breathe and tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow doesn't exist. There's only now. There's only the small defiance in standing, choosing, moving, risking, failing, and trying again. That's it. That's the entire formula. It's simple, but simplicity doesn't make it easier. It doesn't ease fear. It doesn't reduce the dread. It only demands that you answer the call. And answer it you must. You know why? Because if you don't, nothing changes. Nothing improves. Nothing grows. The fire under your skin, the potential in your mind, the energy screaming for action. It dies slowly, quietly, painfully. And that's the real tragedy. Not the hits life gave you, not the chaos you survived, not the fear that paralyzed you, but the potential wasted while you waited, while you hesitated, while you told yourself lies about timing, readiness, fairness, and fear. So let me ask you again, and don't flinch. What are you waiting for? Inspiration? Luck? A neon sign from the universe? Please. Luck doesn't hand out invitations. Inspiration doesn't show up at your doorstep. And the universe isn't polite enough to bother with subtlety. You're waiting for an external cue to validate action. And meanwhile, your life is quietly rotting in the corners you pretend don't exist. Do you know that feeling? That itch? That restless ache that says, I should be doing more. Yeah, that's your potential screaming. And what do? Cover it with Netflix, social media, and excuses. Clever. Very clever. Listen, and you'll say, but I need a plan. Plans are comforting lies. You think plotting every step protects you from failure? It doesn't. You'll get half a plan together, and then life will kick it over like it's a toy. You need action, right now. Imperfect, fumbling, half-baked action that gets your muscles, your brain, your heart moving again. Do you know the difference between someone who succeeds and someone who doesn't? Action, not perfection, not readiness, not waiting for alignment. Action. One step, then another, then another. Even if it hurts, even if it fails, even if it feels stupid. You know, and here's another. Are you afraid people will judge you? Yes, I know. You're terrified someone will see your flaws, your mistakes, your unpolished efforts. Listen, everyone is too busy hiding their own crap to scrutinize yours for long. Most people are quiet spectators at best, pretending they're on the sidelines, when really they're panicking in their own cages. So what's your excuse? You're not avoiding judgment. You're avoiding action. Fear of being seen is just another form of inertia. Oh, and the classics. I'm too tired. I don't have enough time. I'm overwhelmed. Stop whining. Stop rationalizing. You're always going to be tired. You're always going to have too much to do. Overwhelm is a permanent state if you wait for the perfect conditions. Guess what? Conditions are never perfect. They're messy, unpredictable, chaotic. That's life. That's reality. You either move in spite of it or rot under it. Listen, let's get personal. Have you been using trauma as an excuse? Yes, I see it. You survived things that broke others. And now you tell yourself, I can't push because the weight is too heavy. Look, weight is heavy for everyone. Life doesn't care who's fragile. Life doesn't pause for your healing schedule. Survival isn't optional, but thriving is a choice. And choosing means stepping forward, even if your limbs are shaking, even if your heart is screaming, even if the memory of pain tastes like ash in your mouth. You know, and don't pretend you haven't lied to yourself. I'm trying, but it's hard. Yes, trying. Like half-assed attempts count. Listen, trying is not enough. Effort is not enough if it's timid, if it's cautious, if it's half-hearted. Real effort burns. It bleeds. It scares the crap out of you. Effort forces growth, whether you like it or not. And if you haven't felt that burn in months, maybe years, congratulations. You've been surviving, but you haven't been living. Not truly. And yet. And here's one you'll hate, but I'll ask anyway. Do you really want this? Do you? Because here's the truth. If your gut says no, if your fear screams louder than your desire, then fine. Stay put. Stay small. Stay invisible. But if your soul even twitches at the thought of more, at the thought of pushing past comfort, at the thought of owning your potential, then quit hiding. Stop whining. Stop rationalizing. Move. Do. Now. Because the moment you hesitate is another moment your potential rots quietly behind you. Listen. And yes, you're scared. Afraid of failing. Afraid of being embarrassed. Afraid of looking weak. That's human. That's survival talking. But here's the pivot you need to grasp. Weakness is not staying in the cage. Weakness is pretending the cage is safe. Strength is acting anyway. Not because you're fearless. No, forget that. Because shrinking feels worse. Because lying to yourself hurts more than stepping into the unknown. Because knowing you could have done something, anything, but didn't, that's poison. So, and let's talk about excuses dressed as wisdom. I need more experience. I need to wait until I'm ready. I don't want to mess up. Messing up is guaranteed. Read that again. Guaranteed. You will mess up. Multiple times. Brutally, publicly, humiliatingly. And the world? The world doesn't stop, doesn't pause, doesn't hand out participation trophies. It keeps moving. And the only thing that counts is whether you get up after falling. That's it. Nothing else. And yet, and stop romanticizing struggle. You survived hell. Congratulations. That's not a badge of honor. That's a ticket to reality. You can either collapse under the weight of it or let it fuel you. The moment you justify still standing as enough, you're already losing. Enough is safe. Enough is comfortable. Enough is inertia. And you were never meant for enough. You were meant for more. But more requires movement, risk, failure, resilience, persistence. The very things you've been dodging in favor of neat little comfort zones. And yet, and let's dig a little deeper. Why do you procrastinate? It's not because of lack of ability. You have ability. You have talent. You have ideas. No, you procrastinate because action is scary. Change is scary. Growth is terrifying. You've been conditioned to think comfort is safe, but it isn't. Comfort is a slow death, the erosion of potential, the silence where ambition should be screaming. You're not avoiding failure. You're avoiding life. Listen. And what about that fear of judgment? That little voice that whispers, "What will they think?" Look, people will always judge. Always. Harshly. And that's not a reason to shrink. That's a reason to rise. Judgment isn't the enemy. Inaction is. The only people you should be worried about disappointing are yourself. And even then, disappointment is temporary. Regret? Regret lasts decades if you let it. Do you see the difference? So, and don't forget the comfort excuses you cling to. I'm tired. I've done enough. Maybe later. No. Enough is mediocre. Later is a lie. Tired is human, but you're still capable. And capable means choosing to move, even when every bone, every thought, every fear tells you not to. That's where real power lives, in spite of all that. Not because everything aligns neatly, not because fear disappears, but because you refuse to let fear, comfort, or past trauma dictate your life. Well, and you've hidden behind reflection, haven't you? Pretending thinking counts as doing, analysis as action, planning as progress. Thinking alone doesn't move the needle. Planning alone doesn't wake you up. Action is the measure. Movement is the proof. You know this. Deep down, you've always known this. And yet still, here you are, hemming, hawing, pacing, waiting for a sign that never comes. Well, and here's the bitter pill. Life doesn't owe you a sign. Life doesn't owe you clarity. Life doesn't owe you comfort. And if you're waiting for these things before you act, you'll wait forever. Forever. And when you finally realize you've waited too long, when you look at the burned out potential behind you, there won't be comfort there. Only regret. And yes, I see the excuses forming again. I'll catch up. It's not too late. I'm still young. Stop it. Stop rationalizing. Action now, not tomorrow, not next week, not after you've read another book or taken another course. Action now. Listen. And you'll ask, but what if I fail again? And I'll tell you, quick, clipped, because it matters you hear it. Then you fail. Then you learn. Then you get up and try again, and again, and again. That's how anyone who accomplishes anything does it. Not by avoiding failure, not by waiting for permission, not by pretending the path is easy, but by staring fear, chaos, and exhaustion in the face and moving anyway. So, and stop thinking effort equals immediate reward. Effort is invisible at first. Effort hurts. Effort terrifies. Effort exhausts. And for a long time, it feels like nothing changes. But persistence changes everything. You just have to survive long enough to see it. And by survive, I don't mean just exist. I mean act, move, fail, learn, repeat. That's the formula. Brutal, simple, relentless. And yet, and here's another question staring you in the eyes. Are you afraid of your own strength? Because I can see it. Because you've been downplaying it, hiding it, doubting it, pretending it's not there. Strength is messy. Strength is terrifying. Strength means responsibility. Strength means stepping into storms you've been avoiding. And you've been pretending strength is effortless. No. Effortless is illusion. Strength is earned in the cracks, the scars, the failures, the sleepless nights, the gut-wrenching decisions. And yes, I know. You want a sign, a hint, a roadmap. There isn't one. Not really. There's only action, only doing, only facing your fear, your doubt, your past, your excuses, and deciding right now that doing is more important than avoiding. That stepping forward, even imperfectly, even terrified, is better than standing frozen, waiting for a miracle. Listen, and let's not sugarcoat it. You're scared. Afraid of what stepping up will demand. Afraid of losing what little comfort you've hoarded. Afraid of revealing just how unprepared you feel. Look, fear isn't your enemy. In fact, fear is the alarm bell life wired into you to tell you, here's the boundary, step across it or stay small. But small is the killer. Small kills potential, ambition, and dreams quietly, without fireworks. You feel safe in small, but safety is illusion. It's a trap with velvet walls. And you've been living there, haven't you? Don't lie. So, and what about excuses dressed as morality? I don't want to hurt anyone. I need to take care of others first. Stop it. You're not a villain for taking space. You're not selfish for pushing forward. You've been bending, yielding, sacrificing until the weight of it threatened to snap you. That's not virtue. That's avoidance masquerading as nobility. Step forward anyway. Do your work. Pursue your life. Care for others without losing yourself. That's real strength, not martyrdom. And yet, and here's one you'll hate even more. Are you hiding behind your past? Yes, we all do it. I can't because of what happened to me. I'm too scarred. I've been broken too many times. Listen, scars aren't chains. They're proof. Proof you survived. Proof you can handle more. You want to let them define you? Or do you want them to sharpen you, forge you, remind you of what you're capable of despite pain? Choice. Yours. But choose wisely. Scar tissue isn't weakness. Inaction is. So, and don't pretend effort equals guarantee. You'll give your heart, your sweat, your time, and yes, sometimes life will spit on it. Throw it in the mud, ignore it, crush it. That's reality. But the alternative? Doing nothing. That's invisible rot. That's silent death. That's waking up decades later wondering why you never tried. And that, my friend, is far crueler than failure ever could be. Far crueler. Listen, and you'll ask yourself again, quietly, am I strong enough? Stop asking. You don't know until you try. And trying is ugly. Trying is messy. Trying is often terrifying and lonely and exhausting. But strength isn't measured in comfort. Strength is measured in persistence, in showing up, in refusing to disappear quietly, in making the world notice your existence not because it cares, but because you made yourself impossible to ignore. And yet, and yes, I know, I'm not ready. You'll never be ready. The perfect moment doesn't exist. Life doesn't pause until you've rehearsed, strategized, perfected. Life is relentless. And if you wait for readiness, you'll wait forever. Readiness is a myth. Action is real. Brutal, imperfect, terrifying action. That's where change happens. Not in thinking, not in hoping. Action. Well, and stop rationalizing pain. You think pain balances the scales? No. Pain isn't currency. Pain doesn't earn sympathy, success, or happiness. Pain happens. Life happens. And the only way forward is through it. Through the fear, through the chaos, through the mistakes, through the nights you want to collapse and the mornings you barely drag yourself upright. That's not poetry. That's reality. That's growth. That's survival. And yet, and the quietest, most dangerous question of all, are you settling? Yes, you are. Settling for less than you're capable of. Settling because comfort is easier. Settling because ambition feels scary. Settling because action might fail. Well, guess what? Settling kills potential. Slowly, silently, mercilessly. And one day you'll realize you've spent years with your heart in neutral, wondering why life feels hollow. That's the truth. Raw, ugly, and avoidable. Listen, and let's talk excuses as art. I'm tired. I'm busy. I'll do it later. Everyone is tired. Everyone is busy. Everyone faces obstacles. You're not special. You're not exempt. And later is the worst word in existence because it's never now. And now is the only time that matters. If not now, when? Really, when? The answer is never if you keep waiting. So, and here's the kicker. Are you afraid of success? Look at you. Maybe. Because success demands more of you than you're comfortable giving. Success strips pretension. Success exposes weakness. Success pushes you past excuses and laziness and fear. And yes, that's terrifying. But staying small, staying safe, that's certain death for the soul. And the cost? Your life, your potential, your everything. Well, and what about courage? Not the neat, Instagram-friendly kind. The gut-churning, spine-shaking, trembling on your feet kind. That's the one you've been avoiding. Because courage asks for sacrifice. Courage asks for honesty. Courage asks for failure. Courage asks for relentless movement in the absence of comfort or approval. You want that? You'll have to wrestle it from yourself. No one will hand it over. Listen, and don't give me that victim talk. I didn't have a choice. Life was unfair. People let me down. Life is unfair. People are unreliable. Choice exists. Always. 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 You choose whether you sink in misery or fight to rise. You choose whether pain defines you or informs you. You choose whether excuses dictate your life or action. And here's the brutal truth. Everyone has the same choice. Everyone has obstacles. Everyone has fear. The difference? You. Or rather, whether you decide to act despite it. So, and stop pretending surviving is enough. Surviving is bare minimum. Existing is bare minimum. You survived the hell that life threw at you? Congrats. And what now? What are you doing with the strength you were forced to build? What are you doing with the clarity that pain gave you? You either turn that into movement or you squander it. And squandered potential? That's the cruelest theft. Self-inflicted, silent, permanent. And yet, and you'll ask again, am I capable? Look at yourself. Look at the scars, the failures, the nights spent questioning, doubting, bleeding inwardly. Look at the times you got up anyway. That's capability. That's proof. That's enough to start. Not to wait, not to hesitate, not to rationalize. To start, right now, imperfect, fearful, but moving. Well, and here's the final call. Stop pretending waiting is safe. Stop pretending comfort is protection. Stop pretending tomorrow will solve today's inertia. Life is happening right now. And the moment you stop hiding, stop rationalizing, stop waiting for someone else to validate, the moment you take one real, imperfect, messy action, everything changes. Not magically, not immediately, but irrevocably. Because momentum builds, and one step leads to another, and another, until suddenly you're not waiting anymore. You're not small anymore. You're moving. And yes, it will hurt. Of course it will. Fear, exhaustion, doubt, shame, all of it will come. But doing nothing hurts more. Regret is a slow poison, and potential wasted, that's permanent. You're alive. You're breathing. You're capable. You've survived hell. You've faced chaos, failure, betrayal, fear, and yet you're here, still standing, still thinking, still capable, still able. So stop making excuses. Stop rationalizing. Stop hiding. Step into the mess. Step into the discomfort. Step into the fear. Step into the unknown. Fail. Learn. Repeat. Move. Persist. Fight. Build. Claw. Breathe. Begin again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, without waiting for permission, without waiting for inspiration, without waiting for perfect conditions. Because those things don't exist. Only movement exists. Only action exists. Only you, finally, refusing to stay small, refusing to disappear quietly, refusing to waste a single ounce of what you were given, what you survived, what you are capable of. And that is everything. That's life unvarnished. That's truth without apology. That's the raw, unflinching, relentless call to stop hiding and start doing. And you're ready. Not because you're fearless. No, forget that. But because you're tired of lying to yourself. Because you're tired of waiting. Because you know, deep down, that the only thing worse than failure is inaction. And so you move. Move. Move, move, move. And keep moving. Even when it hurts. Even when it's scary. Even when the world doesn't care. Even when you feel invisible. Because movement is proof. Movement is survival. Movement is life. Listen, and one day you'll look back and maybe, just maybe, you'll realize that everything you feared, everything you avoided, everything you doubted, became nothing compared to the strength, clarity, and momentum you gained. You'll see that your own refusal to stay small, your own refusal to bow to fear, your own relentless insistence on action, that's what defines you. That's what matters. That's what endures. So, still standing, still moving, still here. And that's enough. Not for comfort, not for applause, but enough for life. Enough for proof. Enough to finally know that you didn't waste yourself. Take care.